All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom. Here. Ms. Lehman.
Here.
Ms. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Nally.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting from May 13th, 2024, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nally. Could I have a second?
Yeah.
Second by Mrs. Bloom. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Nally.
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom.
Yes.
Ms. Lehman.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved. Moving on to legislative report.
A couple of quick things. I will send out a copy from the OSBA the week of May 20th, some of the activity that's going on. I don't have anything specific to point out in here,
okay.
But it's something good to read, so I will send that to you and then a copy at the office. There also have been a number of posting regarding vouchers. The Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding. All I wanted to point out here was that they're looking at this year, voucher spending may exceed over $1 billion. There's a lot of information. The Senate President, Matt Huffman, in his hometown area of Lima, I guess is really getting blasted because some of the increases in numbers of voucher participants have increased something like 350%. And, so it's really kind of gotten out of whack. And a lot of it is the private schools that require tuition, and there's a real push to have parents apply, and people are eligible up to 450% of poverty. So a family at $135,000 is still eligible for some funding to go with them in this system. So you can see where those dollars add up really quick and why we're at $1 billion. And, the state legislature basically tries to point out that those are separate. They're keeping those separate from our public school dollars. But when that $1 billion is created somewhere, and eventually that's going to impact our public schools, and so I would just recommend that we all kind of keep up on this. Some of it you can catch in the Ohio school boards, but also, like I said, the Ohio Coalition of Equity and Adequacy also has information on numbers and how that's just exploding. So that's all I have to report.
It's always funny how the state used to say, well, public schools have all the regulation, all the certifications, all the continuing education, all the other thing, because they are the ones who receive our tax dollars, our state tax dollars. Now with the voucher system, people are getting tax dollars, yet they're not still held to the same standards. I'm all for a voucher system when it's a level playing field for if this is what you have to graduate in the state of Ohio from high school, that should be across the board requirement for everybody in every school district. Make it level playing, and it's all right. But it's funny how they're.
And you'll see in the legislative reports and stuff that there's all kinds of different actions being taken to now do what you're talking about, which really surprised me, because now they're talking, even like with the non-chartered schools, more and more requirements on them, especially in the like the state testing, that that they can't just say, oh, I took this test and that's acceptable. They have to do the state testing. And that's, I don't know, that's not totally in place yet.
Right.
Something-
They often do have to take a test, but they get to pick whatever test they want to take. Yeah. So this would eliminate that option. They have to take the test that public schools take.
Always something. Always something. No walk-on items tonight.
No, sir.
Nobody here to address the board from the community, so we'll move on to recommendations of the superintendent.
Thank you very much, Board. I really appreciate your flexibility for this special meeting tonight. And we purposely kind of kept this agenda slim to get us in and out. But we do have some, and you'll see, some very timely matters, mostly around our summer school, that we really need to get on and get going so we can get people in place and be ready to roll, because Friday is the end of school, which is also a little bit mind-blowing for me. All right, if I may, Mr. Price, I'll continue with item 1.
Yep.
All right, approval with Life Touch. This is for our pictures for next year. This is athletic and band photographic services commencing August 1st. This is no cost. This would be for the family packets like we all grown accustomed to. So with your approval, we'll get that contract taken care of.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve item 1, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lehman. Any discussion?
With Ms. Delweller, did this go out for bid at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. King works on with us, and we had Life Touch 2 years ago. We had another company, Rip Show, which was the company this year, and we're going to try to go back to Life Touch. It's been that industry seems to be just a little bit of an upheaval. I don't know if,
Okay.
like everybody else, I think they're finding trouble maybe finding help and so forth, but it's been a bit of a challenge to find a good, reliable contractor.
So there is a process to it.
Yes,
That's great.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Ms. Lehman?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Nally?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes, motion's approved.
All right. Item 2 is very exciting for us. Every year, just so the board remembers, we pull back all the one-to-one devices from our seniors, and we sprinkle those back down through now elementary school. We're going to work our way back down, but we hand every 9th grader in the fall a brand new Chromebook to get them through the high school. So with your permission tonight, we'll spend this general fund dollars and also some Title IV to replace and kind of keep that cycle through. It's really been a good system for us to make sure we don't have this giant cliff of we have to replace all these items. So one grade level at a time, brand new machines, gets them through 4 years of high school with a reliable machine. And then we use the ones that we get back to help middle school and elementary. Ms. Hurt was saying too that we got to be careful because some of the older ones aren't compatible with state testing. So we have to make sure that all those that we need in the right place are in the right place. But that's all done behind the scenes with the machines we get back from seniors. So, thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve item 2, please?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lewis. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lehman. Any discussion?
So, anyways, we were talking about this before the meeting. So it's just 9th through 12th. It's not any of the kids younger than that.
Ms. Hurt, go ahead if you don't mind. I know you've got
Just so everybody
she's
knows.
closer to it than I am.
Absolutely. We are one-to-one device to student successfully down through our middle school. It looks different at the middle school level. At the high school level, every freshman is assigned a Chromebook that they sign out for with a case, and they keep that Chromebook until they graduate. So
Okay.
approximately 4 years, they are responsible for it, and they keep that year round. We do not retrieve it until right before graduation. In grades 6, 7, and 8 here in this building, every student is assigned a Chromebook. The carts are displaced throughout the building, and students retrieve those at the beginning of the day and return them at the end of the day. So a little bit different protocol for a little bit different age of student. They have access to it throughout the day, but it does not typically go home. We do have the opportunity if there's a situation, some extended work or an absence, and there's that need, there's a process in place that the family can then communicate with the building principal and we can make those arrangements. We do currently have a cart a cart of 30 Chromebooks in every studio, every grade 4 and 5 studio in the elementary buildings. So that is kind of a 3-to-1 ratio that we're looking at. And then there are additional carts kind of floating around in the elementary buildings as well. So we will purchase an additional cart or two with the Chromebooks that are going to be returned this year. But it's a really, really nice system in keeping devices in the hands of students for the use of instruction.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
Thank you very much. Moving on into staff. We have 2 resignations, Amanda Williams and Stephanie Patterson. Top of the next page, item 4, we have a supplemental contract for Elizabeth Schultz, FCSD. This is for our all-city orchestra. Item 5, supplemental contract for Cordell Wyatt, 9th grade football. Item 6, there in the middle of the page, supplemental duty position. That one, if you follow all the way down, Dennis Tompkins, their middle school football coach for this fall. Top of the next page is item 7. We have a few more teachers that need to be paid as teacher mentors. That's Brittany Pacheco Quiroga and Teresa Wright. Those are the end of our personnel items.
Can I get a motion to approve items 3 through 7, please?
So move.
Motion by Ms. Lehman. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nally. Any discussion?
Real quick, the athletic coaches for the middle school,
Mhm.
are they all part of a stipend from, like, does the football program, like high school through middle school,
Yes.
have one
Yeah,
pot and
and
the stipends all come from there?
in our negotiated agreement, we have levels. You see that F10, for example, where it says at the bottom of page 4 for Coach Tompkins. That F10 is one of the lines in our negotiated agreement that pays a certain amount for that level of coach. So depending on numbers of students, like in track, for example, we might have head coach and then 3 or 4 assistants, depending on the number of students.
Sure.
We do the same thing for football. As those numbers go up and down, we try to be flexible for that. Take Mr. Burns' recommendation on how many. So each designation then falls into one of those lines for pay or compensation for that position. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
Thank you very much. Going on to item 8, we have a status change for Adelaide Stover from custodian 1, step 1 to custodian 1, step 3.
Can I have a motion to approve item 8, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lewis. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
All right, thank you. Item 9 is a lengthy one because it really contains a lot of our summer school stuff. So I'll go through that quickly. The first section, Renee Bissett and Carrie Hosang would like to be in charge of our credit recovery summer program this year at Ross. Top of the next page, they also will be helping us with our OST summer intervention at Ross, which is the Ohio State testing. Those for students who need end-of-course exams to be passed to keep their graduation on track. The K-3 summer intervention program, then that's that next group of teachers. We got 9 teachers there that will be a part of our K-3 summer program at Otis Elementary. In the middle of the page, we need Regina Reed to help us be a secretary at Otis to keep the summer program going. Next is bus drivers. You see there's 5 bus drivers listed for our K-3 summer intervention program. Towards the bottom of the page, we have Michael Baker as a bus driver for the Opportunities Summer Learning Program at Ross. And then Mike Coble, a driver for our Summer Engineering Enrichment Program
at Ross. So hopefully get those kids back and forth into those programs.
Can I get a motion to approve item 9, please?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lehman. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nally. Sorry, that was Ms. Lewis who motioned, not Ms. Lehman. My mistake. I was reading Ms. Lehman's name as I'm scrolling down on the computer, and sorry. So we have Ms. Lewis making the motion. Mr. Nally has seconded it. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom. Yes. Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
Thank you very much. Item 10 is we pulled Cassidy Price off. She will be helping us also with the K-3 Summer Intervention Program. We need to have her on a special item for herself.
I have a motion to approve item 10, please.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lehman. I got it right. this
Right
time.
on.
Right on.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bloom. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom. Yes. Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Abstain, and motion approves.
Thank you very much. Item 11, these are substitutes for our summer programs. We've got staff substitute Elizabeth Schultz, and then support staff substitutes, and the list is there. That includes some custodians, bus drivers, and kitchen help. So with your approval, we'll get those subs lined up for our summer program.
Can I have a motion to approve item 11, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nally. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom. Yes. Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
Thank you very much, Board. I'm going to ask Mrs. Hurd if she would, because she's been in the thick of this. She's been scrambling for 2 weeks trying to get this out in a timely fashion so that our teachers have time this summer to meet the law that is now part of our science of reading. So, Mrs. Hurd, thank you so much for all you've done already to get this going. And if you could help our board understand what it is they're looking at.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. So the Science of Reading professional development trainings are all part of the Governor's House Bill 33 that we learned about last summer. So across the state of Ohio, all teachers from preschool through grade 12 are mandated to participate and complete this training. And there's, for our certified staff, our teaching staff, there is a stipend that is also written into that same bill. So the language in the law dictates based on content that this teacher teaches, as well as their current assignment and their licensure that they hold, dictates which pathway, A through, I think it's F, which pathway they are prescribed and they must participate in. The pathway that they are assigned to is also aligned then to the stipend that they are eligible for. So there are just a couple key pieces here. Because the dollars will flow through the state, we need to be very, very thoughtful with our staff that these trainings take place and are completed outside of their contractual day, week, and yearly calendar. So many school districts across the state of Ohio are aligning these to summer trainings, and that is our goal that we've communicated with our staff. Our hope is to have 100% participation and completion before we return to school in August. So we've aligned that. All emails have been sent to our certified staff. They all know what pathway, they know their process in getting their stipend and they're paid. We've worked with our finance department, and we have a couple of different dates throughout the summer, so that as they finish, they can turn in that stipend, that payroll sheet, and then receive that stipend back to them that they are eligible for. So, and again, it is every teacher, and it's depending upon the content that they teach and the grade level that they are teaching, determines whether or not they have 8 hours of professional development or 22 hours of professional development. So there's a wide range. And again, all of that has been communicated. Now, one caveat in the law is that administrators are required to complete the exact same training, and there's a pathway specific for them, but they are not eligible for a stipend. So what you will see on our board agenda this evening is that we would like to use some of our Title II professional development dollars to provide a stipend for our administrative staff, and we've communicated with them as well that this needs to take place outside of their contractual timeframes, and that they also will have an opportunity. That's a local decision that we've put in place, that they'll be able to collect that stipend as well.
That's kind of crazy that the state mandates that administrators have to, but there's no stipend for it, and it has to be out of contractual hours, where most administrators have a longer contractual time than a teacher does. So they have less free time, but they still have, and not that it's going to be 22 hours for them, maybe, but
Correct.
still.
I think it's 8.5 hours for
But
them.
so it's smaller, but still it's
time.
it's still time.
Professional expectations.
And oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to allocate any money for that, even though we will for every teacher. And even if a teacher is only 8 hours of training,
They need to be the experts in their building because they're managing the teachers who have done the training.
right? It makes sense that
Absolutely.
administrators need to
Absolutely.
have it because they need to know what their teachers have gone through. I get it,
Yep.
but come on, man. I mean,
That is definitely a come on, man.
So, I mean, as my department, as we brainstormed this, we just really felt that that was an important item. And so
Yeah.
then I brainstormed with Mrs. Parkhurst, and we determined that those federal professional development dollars align perfectly.
great idea.
So just about, I think I understood you correctly. You said the goal by the end of the summer was to have 100% compliance.
Absolutely.
So of this list that we're about to approve,
Mhm.
where would that put us?
If-
Is this
if-
the 100%
This is
compliant?
That's us.
100%.
There's about
Okay.
250 of our teachers on all these lists. Yeah.
Just checking.
And I've been in some meetings. It's interesting to see what different districts are doing with this. Some are waiting, but I think Denise is right. Let's just get it done, get it out, let them have the summer to do it. Because we had to scramble because it changed and we didn't get some guidance until late. So
Wait,
we
what?
thought,
No,
So
come
we had
on.
to scramble to get it out before everyone left for the summer. We thought that's really the best shot for them to have a chance to get it done on their own time, and not try to do it after school next fall or some other
Yeah.
arrangement like that. So
So like if you remember too, like the dyslexia training, we were very fortunate for that first group last year in the 22-23 school year that we had 3 solid professional development days available for our staff. And that was 3 6-hour days, and it was an 18-hour training. So although it tied up all of their professional development time in those days, it was an opportunity for them they were already at work paid, and that was a great opportunity for them. They didn't have to complete that outside. We are not able to utilize professional development days and the teachers be eligible for their stipend. So that is not on the plate as an option moving forward into next school year. So we truly have worked and to communicate this with our staff that their best opportunity is to complete it this summer, and be able to be eligible for the stipend that the governor has set aside for them.
And to be compliant with our participation like
that's right.
what legislatively has been set
Correct.
forth.
Correct. Some of the terminology that Mr. Detweiler and I participated in this past week, a area superintendent's meeting, and a lot of discussion and a lot of sharing as to how each district was rolling that out. And this truly is a condition of employment. We will have to report, every staff member will have to turn in their completed certificate. We will have to share that through EMIS with, the state. This is a real deal.
I'm glad we're ahead of the game here.
Yeah,
Or just
Yeah.
just
Yep.
moving forward.
Thank you.
I'll proceed then, Mr. Price, if that's okay. So item 12 then, so is our first group, and like Denise explained, each one of these groups qualifies for a different level of compensation. So the first group was a $1,200 group, and there's about 80 students, or I'm sorry, no, between that 2 pages, almost 120 teachers in that first group, please.
Can I get a motion to approve item 12, please?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lehman. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lewis. Any discussion?
Just a comment for Ms. Parkhurst. When we, in the wording, it says future reimbursement expected from the DOE. So we do have a solid commitment
Yeah.
that those
Yep,
are
it's in the House bill. They've
Okay.
already got a portal set up where I would upload an Excel spreadsheet to with the information that they need. They got that out about April of this year. So yep, it's already in place and ready to go. They're going to reimburse the wages plus retirement for us. So we've already got that confirmed. And
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom, yes, Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
Thank you very much. Item 13, we pulled Cassidy Price and Tia Price out of that list for a separate vote. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve item 13, please?
So move.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nally. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom, yes, Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Abstain. Motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Item 14, you recognize some of those. You got science, math, art, so it's really the non-content, non-language arts folks kind of in that second tier. So with your approval, we'll set them up for their stipend as well.
Can I get a motion to approve item 14, please?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lehman. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bloom. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom, yes, Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
And item 15, we did the same for Tanya Cook to pull her off for a separate vote.
Can I have a motion to approve item 15, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nally. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lewis. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom, yes, Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Abstain, and motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Item 16 is what Mrs. Hurt just referred to with our administrative teams. You see all the principals there, some school psychologists, so far, everybody that kind of classified as an administrative position, which would also then receive, with your approval, a stipend for their time.
Can I get a motion to approve item 16, please?
So move.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lehman. Any discussion?
I just think it's a really nice, classy move for us to provide a stipend for our administrators for everything that's been previously discussed. I'm glad our administration thinks that way. So, nice job.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom, yes, Ms. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mrs. Price.
Yes, motion's approved. Moving on to board member communications. Don.
Just a couple things. Mostly following on Facebook. It's been really neat to see all the end of the year activities at all the grade levels. I think it's good to end the school year with some fun and camaraderie, and so I think all those things are very positive, and just encourage all the children and just to be careful and have a great, safe summer. Congratulations to all of our graduates. It's going to be exciting to see them receive their diplomas this coming weekend, and so I wish them the best. And the final thing was just a big thanks to all the teachers, administrators, support staff for a great school year. And I think, we just have a lot of very good special things going on in our district, and I don't know that people fully understand the value of the facilities that we have now, and the attitudes of our teaching staff, to really make sure our kids are successful. And yeah, I just every once in a while will drive around the district and kind of look at the buildings and, kind of put the big picture together. And to me, it's exciting to see where our community is. So that's all I had tonight.
Sarah?
May was a long year.
Ooh.
I said that to another parent. Like May was just a long year, but it was full, like Mr. Nally just said, full of exciting awards, banquets, and senior recognition. And I know we still have some grade schools this week yet doing academic awards, and it's just as busy as it is as a parent. It's really neat to see all the things happening. Congratulations to all the spring sports wrapping up. Got to give a shout out to state-bound Dominic Brown, who is going to he is going to represent. He's the only Fremont Ross track athlete that will represent at the state competition, throwing the shot put. And I guess just lastly, thank you to all of the teachers and support staff and bus drivers who stepped up and are going to make summer happen for our students who need it. We couldn't do it without them. So just really appreciative of everybody who answered the call.
Laura?
I just want to say thank you to the teachers for everything you did this past year and the years previous. We're coming up on summer break here, and I know personally myself, I've talked to several different teachers in the school system, and every day is not easy for them. They come into trials, and just the things that they deal with, and you're dealing with human people. I know myself. I deal with the elderly. You guys deal with the young. It's two different opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's the same perspective. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with people that it's not always going to go smooth. It's not always going to pan out the way that you want it to when you leave your house in the morning. And you kind of know when you're coming to school that your problem kids you're going to deal with or the situations you're in the middle of. But I guess the moral of it is you are making a difference. And I don't want you teachers and administrators to forget about that. You're making a difference. You're making a difference in the kids' lives that you probably don't even realize at the time. And it might even hit these kids 2, 3, 4 years down the road when they're in college, when they're raising kids. I just want you guys to not lose focus on that. And just remember, there's a reason why you're doing the things that you do. We appreciate it. No, we're not there with you day in and day out, but all the people that you work with are, and the kids are. And I think you guys are doing a good job. And, hopefully you'll take the summer just to get your minds together, get some rest, do some of your favorite things, put in some plans of maybe how you can do things a little bit differently the next coming year to amp it up a little and come back and spread more positiveness. That's what it's all about. So thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody of that.
Lori?
Congratulations to all the seniors. Got to go to the Learning and Liberty. That's always fun. That's neat to see them kids. They've excelled. They've won those awards and they've come down and they get their medal. Got to hear JJ Hall talk. Haven't seen him in a while. Graduated with him. It was pretty neat. Good luck to all the students when they're coming back and the teachers, thank you for all you do and all the volunteers and everybody that gives their time to help with the kids and to teach the kids. And take the summer and relax. And if you're working the summer, find some time to take and spend it on yourself. So, and just thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations to Dom for making the state. Got to see him throw at regional. So, good luck when he heads down to the state meet down in Dayton this year. So good luck to him. Graduation Sunday this Sunday.
Yep.
So anxiously waiting to see all the graduates and everything. That's always a fun time to be out there. We'll pray that the weather is good and we have a good graduation out there. Students and staff have a good summer. Relax a little bit. Spend a little time on your favorite SOR training while you're out for the summer. It's been kind of a wild spring, so Everybody needs a little relaxation. Andrew and the tech department, on the other hand, their summer is going to be probably still pretty busy, but hopefully they get a little downtime also. So, with that, there isn't any.
I forgot one thing.
No.
Sorry. I apologize, but it's important. Mr. Detweiler, if you could maybe or Mrs. Hurt, some details about food disbursement over the summer.
Yes, for
I think
sure.
that was just announced
Yes,
this week. So maybe
it's a late rollout. Thank you.
just a
Yes.
quick.
Get that out. So it is going to be like we've done in the past. Monday Monday meal distribution for the week. So it's not every day. It's Monday. Up to 4 packs of 10 meals each. So it's 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches for up to 4 family members. I think that's right. Denise, is that right? I think that's right. And it'll be that at 10:30 to noon. Right. I'll have to get the time out, but it's a lunchtime dispersal on a Monday.
So
So
families can just
families can drive up.
roll up.
That's right. There's no pre-qualifications. None of that. Just how many.
And
So
when does that roughly start? Not right away.
Not right
so
away.
it's not. We have time to get it out so people.
Yep. And when there'll be some, with some rollouts from our ends. And really, it was a late development. Thank you. I probably should have had more information.
Well,
for
no,
you.
I know it was. I feel like I read it on Facebook where
Yeah.
everything happened.
Yeah,
so.
You might have more than I do right there as far as the details for start
That was
dates
an
there. I don't
email.
know if I know that offhand.
I believe it was June 10th.
That sound right?
There's a couple weeks yet, so we'll
Yeah.
be able to get the
We'll
word
get
out
that
to the
out.
community
Yeah.
so they know when it starts and everything. So.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
call.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Anything
And
else,
that
Miss
was
Lewis?
that was a no, and now it's a yes. So it's one of those things that we didn't think was going to happen, and now it is. So
Sure. No, that's all, Mr. Price.
Okay. Thank you. With that, can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Miss Lehman. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom. Yes. Ms. Lehman.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Nally.
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes. Motion's approved. Meeting's adjourned.